are the national foods? This is a video.
Yeah, in Canada. In Canada, yeah.
What are the national foods in Canada?
So you start first.
Poutine.
Maple syrup.
I don't know.
What else? So there's
That's all I
beaver
got.
tail.
Okay, it's
actually.
your turn now.
No, I'm
Pass.
out.
She's out. I'm out too. So you go like say doner. Doner. It's
Doner is Turkish.
It's Turkish.
Doner
But
is
there is one.
Turkish.
So
Tim
local-
Hortons.
Oh,
Tim
good,
Hortons,
good
yeah.
one. And there's beaver tail. It's a
Second cup.
sweet dessert. It's like basically a beaver tail shaped dessert, and you
Okay.
can put some flavors on it. Very delicious.
Beaver
think the
tail
most
dessert.
famous
Here
is
we come.
Raptors.
Do they have coffee?
If they don't, we will go to a coffee.
I love this city. I think it's the best in Canada.
I disagree.
You disagree? You know what? For visiting purposes, I think Quebec City is more interesting,
It's
more
beautiful.
historic.
We are
It is
visiting.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
For a short visiting, you know.
We are visitors.
Yeah,
so
yeah. But in the long term, I'll probably live in Montreal
Yeah.
instead of.
For visiting, Quebec City is great, but for living, Montreal is the place to be.
Yeah, I would agree. The best city ever is Seattle. You know, Seattle. You know.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not. Don't.
No, no.
I don't
That
say
was
that.
just a.
Do you know what the best city is? One of them. Top 10. Is that good enough? Top 10? Istanbul.
Istanbul. New
To
York.
Quebec City yesterday morning and had a great time hanging out with a bunch of couch surfers. This morning I'm heading to a waterfall with some people who are living here now from France. We just had a coffee, $5.50 Canadian. That is not a frugal purchase. I need to stop buying $5 coffees and start making my own again because that's too much for a frugal traveler. But it's good.
Ah ouais, non, c'est moins magnifique. Le filtre est dégueulasse.
My name is Cassie. Are you gonna ask me more questions? Or I have to go by myself? We're in Quebec City, in a bakery. We met at the Bureau de Poste, the post office, the restaurant that everything costs $5, through Henry, the guy from Turkey.
He told me his name was John.
He didn't.
He said his name was John.
His name is Emery. He said his name was John.
On couchsurfing, his name was John. I thought it was a very American name for a Turkish
Maybe
man.
he's trying to. Oh, but he's on the run from his government.
What?
Oh, you didn't know that? You
Okay.
didn't know he was on the run? No, I'm serious.
What?
No, I'm serious. You know how that big revolt happened?
Are you shitting me?
No, I'm serious. Yeah, that's why he's doing it. It's not just for shits. Like,
I need to call him.
we met because he wanted to meet up and you were with him.
We were going to talk about the differences between the French and the Quebecians. Quebecois.
Quebecers, yeah, Quebecois.
Quebecois.
No, I was telling a story about when I studied abroad in Amsterdam, and I met this French guy, but I wasn't sure if he was the part of the nice French people or the part where you were gonna make fun of me for my accent. So I tried to tell him a bit like in English first, like instead of saying, yeah, I speak French, let's speak French together. I was like, yeah, I'm from Quebec and this and that culture, and this sometimes we use these words that are different from yours. Haha, so cool. And like sometimes we pronounce moi as moi or toi as toi. And you know how he answered me? That's disgusting. Way to ruin what could be a friendship. I was like not ready for that response. That's a little harsh, don't you think? I was on a trip with my American friend in Paris. We were having a great time in the hostel bar. I met this guy named Olivier, and he seemed like super interested in Quebec culture, so I told him like all about the history and why language evolved differently and the different words and expressions, and they were like asking me to like say something, oh it's so funny, you're from Quebec, that's awesome, use an expression, whatever. I thought we had a really nice night. Recently, he posted on Facebook all these awful comments about how Quebec French is awful. Then all of his friends were like commenting all these like really mean things. How you can't take a Quebec person seriously. Their words are so funny. Their accent is so gross.
So this is why the Quebecois don't like the French.
Yes, I've been speaking the wrong French my entire life, and everyone in my country speaks wrong French. I'm so glad that you came to save me with this great French, the good French.
So there seems to be a little bit of animosity between the French and the Quebecois. Quebecois.
Yeah. I tried to give a French person the benefit of the doubt first. I met a really nice French girl in the hostel, and she told me that when she went in the street in Quebec with her French accent from France, that she was treated not so nice. That's not how we should do it. We should still continue to be us, and to be welcoming like the Quebecians that we are. Quebecois is masculine, then you have Quebecois for a girl. People in general, Quebecois. Our expressions are very rich culturally, but they are more tied to our culture. Say our friend was gonna come, walked up, he's gonna join us to have a coffee. In Quebec French, we would say, tiens une bûche, which means like take a log, because we are lumberjacks for a long time, so all of our expressions are tied to like nature and the forest.
And the French here that's spoken is an older form of French, right?
It's the French that was spoken by the king before the French Revolution, and they get rid of the king. And then the French people start to teach the language of the people instead of the language of the king. So then the French in France changes, and we stay the same. So that's why it's different. It's not a bad or a good French. It's not Quebec is a better Quebecois French is better than France French. It's not that France French is better than Quebecois French. It's different. That's all it is. Why can't we just like each other's differences and be like, wow, oh my gosh, I didn't know this, and I don't know, just share each other's experiences and culture.
That's a political party? Yeah. What does it say?
It says they want you to be mixed and taken out of your roots without identity. We want you to be nationalist. Heavy, yeah. But that's the thing, is like really, there's a really complex history about it, because once France left us, then the English took over, so like as our new masters, and trying to like assimilate them and get them into English only. Certain laws that said that Francophones had to address their boss in only English. But like, how do you address your boss in English if you don't speak English? It doesn't make any sense. It was really, really, really complicated history. The official language in Quebec is French. So the official language in Canada is technically bilingual, like English and French. But actually in Quebec, it's only French. Just to try and keep French in Quebec, because we had to fight really hard to keep the French.
Okay, say that one more time.
We had to fight really hard to keep French in Quebec. I think I needed a break. In 1838, there was this like huge revolt of the Patriots, how we call it. Basically, Quebecers tried to revolt for their language and cultural rights, but it was a failure, and a lot of people got killed, and the Canadian government hung all the leaders, and then, oh my god, look at that. Oh, that's not very nice.
No, it's not very nice.
And they sent a bunch of people to Australia.
Really?
Yeah, and then after this begins the period that we call La Grande Noirceur, the Big Darkness in Quebec. The whole province of Quebec was a period of over 100 years that the Catholic Church had more power than the government, because the Canadian government made a sort of deal with the church to try and get people to not revolt anymore. So to get the Quebec people to not revolt, they gave the church all the power. It wasn't a good idea for them to give all the power to the Catholic Church, because back in the day, you would go for any choices, you'd go to your priest and he tells you what to do. He even tells you which party to vote for. It's like really serious consequences. But this is why it's called the Big Darkness. And so now we have so many churches, if you go in Quebec City or in Quebec anywhere, so many churches. But now no one is religious, because they're like afraid of it a bit now. And some of them have graffiti all over them. It's closed.
And that was because they sided with the government at a bad time, right? And it was a political...
It was like the government didn't want Quebec people to keep revolting. So they said, how do we control this population? We control them with God. We give the power to the church. And the church was more than willing to take that power.
I got a ride! 3 hours back to Montreal. I really wish that we could continue this conversation. We'll visit.
Yes.
We started talking about the differences between the Quebecois and the French, because with the 5 French people I was with today, I noticed some really different aspects of the conversation and things like that. The interaction that I had with them was really different than I've had with the Canadians, whether or not they're English-speaking or French-speaking Canadians. But today with the French young people, I had to ask a few times for them to translate jokes and stuff when they were like roaring with laughter, and I didn't know what was going on. They all spoke really, really good English, just really different from the Canadians. They're all super, super friendly, really talkative. It's really easy to engage them in conversation and become friends in general. And I've had that experience with a lot of the Quebecois that I've met. Returned to Montreal to get the gnocchis a few days later after going to Quebec City, and they look amazing. $5. This is like a pound of gnocchis for $5. Awesome. They're so good! Gnocchis caseras, homemade gnocchis. Heading to New Hampshire today. The weather is really bad here in Magog, I don't know how to say that name. Still in Quebec. Rainy and very, very windy. Can you see the flagpole? Where's the flagpole? Got another hour and a half until I'm there.